Hey guys, Easy Manual. Most of you know me as Manny Light, and you know my story from my last video of how I went from a credit score in the 500s to being able to purchase a house in only 8 months. And since that last video, a lot of people have been asking me, so what are the main things I need to do to have the same success as you? Maybe it's not because you're trying to buy a home, but you're trying to start a business or whatever it is. And I really dug deep in me and, to think about this. And I came up with 3 truths. It's your responsibility. That's the first truth. That's what I had to tell myself. Because something that you may not know is that in 2008 or prior to 2008, I was in the process of completing my electrical engineering degree. And I was in line to get in a very big position, paying a lot of money, and I was excited. In 2008, everybody knows, the economy crashed. And I started blaming the economy for years of why I was where I was. And after reading that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, as I told you, something clicked with me. And then I began to take responsibility. And I think Will Smith, and he has Fault versus Responsibility, he really explained it great, where it may not be your fault that your parents didn't teach you financial tools, but it's your responsibility to learn those. It may not be your fault that the economy crashed, but it's your responsibility to fix it. It may not be your fault because of A, but it's your responsibility to fix it. Whatever it is, it's your responsibility. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you're taking the blame, but you are taking control of your life. It gives you the power to begin writing your own story. And once you take responsibility, it just gives you this drive now because you take the control, you feel more excited, more prone. You see more belief in yourself that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve because you take responsibility to fix your own situation. You're not looking at your teachers, you're not looking at your friends, you're not looking at your parents. You're not blaming this color of your skin or racism or the president or who's in power. You take full responsibility, so no matter what happens, yes, you might stumble, but you're going to jump right back up because you have the control of how anything affects you. Stuff happens, but you have the control of how you react to it, of how long you ponder. It may not be your fault that your husband or your wife messed up your budget or your finances, but it's your responsibility to fix it. And when you take the responsibility, you take control. And that's what I did. After reading that book, I took full responsibility of where I was. I took responsibility that I was still living in my aunt's basement. I took responsibility that I was spending money that I shouldn't have spent it. I took responsibility that I was leasing a car just to show off to other people, and I gave back that lease and I bought a used car because now I had goals. So because I took responsibility, I didn't really care much of what the outside thought of me. Because of taking responsibility, I am in control of my own life. Sacrifice. Number 2. This one is, sometimes I say, we all know what we have to sacrifice. Because as I said in step 1, you take responsibility and then now you have control. And maybe you write your budget out and you say, I'm going to be better at my spending. I'm going to be better at going to the gym to lose weight. I'm going to be better at saving my money so I could buy a house. But something recently I've been saying is, not because you decide to become a vegetarian means that the bacon is not going to smell good, right? So this is something that you have to sacrifice. It's hard. Like I mentioned that I had leased a car and I gave the lease back and bought a used car. And almost every day or at least weekly, I want to go into a car dealership and just pick up a new car. Because now I have the credit to do it, but I am sacrificing for a greater goal. Yes, when I go out, I want to go and buy like Doritos, or yes, I want to go to when I go out, or at least when I used to go to the clubs, I wanted to buy, a bottle for my friend's birthday because, I have the money. But you have to have sacrifices. Maybe you can't go to, every Celtics game that your friend goes to. Maybe you can't go out to dinner. Maybe even if you go out to dinner, you have to really look at the price of what you're paying. Maybe, yes, I'm tired, but I have to prepare my breakfast for the next day and my lunch for the next day so I don't spend as much money. With what you have to sacrifice, we all know. We all know what we have to do to get healthy and lose weight. But taking the sacrifice of just waking up and going to the gym, or not eating, extra food, or cutting out the amount of meat or dairy we're eating, is like it's a sacrifice. And it's not easy, but it's doable. And I guarantee you, whatever sacrifices you make, you are going to be so happy about it. One of the things for me recently is my doctor told me that he was like, Emmanuel, you don't have high blood pressure, but you're right on that hinge. So I had to make sacrifices on what I do, what I eat, being more active, not eating as much salt, not putting as much sugar in my tea. And every time I go in to the kitchen or anything, I'm battling because I want to put a little more sugar. I want to put a little more salt. But I know the greater goal of my health because high blood pressure does run in my family. It takes sacrifices. I told you that I had a 500 credit score, and in 8 months I was able to purchase a home. It took a lot of sacrificing. The one that I always mention is the car. I had to get rid of a lot of stuff, like today, probably like Netflix. Right now, me and my wife have goals. I picked up a second job, 18 hours, about 16 to 18 hours a week. And everything in me just doesn't want to do it. I get so tired. I'm like, why do I have to do this? Every time someone invites me and I'm out to do something, it always falls on the days that I'm working my second job. But it's a sacrifice. Right now, it seems so horrible. But when me and my wife hit the financial goals that we want, when we get that second and third multifamily home, we'll be able not only to go out to dinner or go to the basketball games, we'll be able to go to the Caribbean with our friends and probably even pay for them because of the sacrifices we make today. And one thing that always pops to me is the sacrifice of my grandmother. That she came to America by herself, or if I'm correct, it was with her and some of the kids, but as the only adult, and worked tirelessly and brought all of her kids to the United States. And now they're extremely successful. I have a cousin that's a big-time accountant. Her pictures are on magazines. I have another cousin that graduated from Harvard and a grandfather professor. I could just go through the list. Another cousin that's, president of the Bar Association for a state. All because what I could see is the sacrifices of our grandparents. And that could be your story. That you will live forever because your grandkids and great-great-grandkids will remember you because of the sacrifices you did so they don't have to go through it. Or maybe it just might be you're being able to drive a better car, get your kids to a better school, being able to give them stuff that you never had because you sacrificed for 2 to 3 years. The pain of the sacrifice is nowhere close to the joy of achieving a goal that you want. So just dig in and sacrifice. to achieve what you want in life. Number 3, delayed gratification. After reading that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, I was fired up. And I told myself, I am going to be a homeowner before the end of the year. And by the next day, the stuff that I wrote down that I knew I had to do to get my, stick to a budget, give up my car, not eat out. I think that's my biggest thing. Wanted to buy lunch with my friends or wanted to buy breakfast. And almost, not even the next day, but after that week, I wanted to give up. Why? Because after 1 week, I didn't really see much change. After 1 month, I didn't really, see much change. Because the debt I owed after 1 month, I barely put a little dent into it. But our society, we're so, they call it the microwave effect. That we all expect that all we have to go is put it in a microwave for 2 minutes and bang, we're gonna be able to achieve whatever we want. A lot of people come to me like, yo, Manny, I really, really, really want to be a homeowner. What do I have to do? And extremely quickly, I realize, and they realize, they know the answer. You know the answer. You know exactly what you need to do to get out of debt. You know exactly what to do to get your credit score right. You know exactly what to do to get, the savings you need to buy a home. But do you want to take responsibility? Are you willing to take the sacrifices over a long period of time? Delayed gratification. They say success is paid in full and in advance. You have to put the work in. All of the work up front, blood, sweat, and tears. Then you will see success. And you have to understand it's delayed gratification. On both ends. So someone that's looking for health, if every day you eat a hamburger and you always hear people, if I eat one hamburger or if I have this slice of cake, it's not going to kill me. No, that one slice of cake, that one hamburger will not kill you. But if you constantly do it every day, even after a week, you might not see much difference. But after a year, after 2 years, you will see the difference and you'll feel the difference. But imagine on the other side of the spectrum, you're not eating that. You're eating healthy smoothies or exercising. The first day, the first week, the first month, you may not see any type of change in your body. People are not going to be congratulating you, telling you, hey, John, have you been working out? I see you losing weight. No, it takes time. And during that time, you're going to have a lot of pain and suffering. Because you have to understand the delayed gratification. It's going to take some time for you to achieve your goals. And what's even worse, it's going to take some time before you even start seeing any results. Your credit score is not just going to change like this. And if anyone's coming to you saying that I could change your credit just like this for a simple payment of $199, they're lying. Because just as fast as they fix it, I guarantee you it's going to come right back. Or, hey, you buy this magic pill and you're going to lose weight. How many people have done that? Liposuction, and then they just get all the weight back. Because it's a mindset. And delayed understanding and accepting delayed gratification is a very important part of that. So number 3, delayed gratification. So just to recap with you, number 1, it's your responsibility. It may not be your fault that you are where you are, but it's for damn sure your responsibility to fix it. Number 2, sacrifice. After you take responsibility, after you take control of your life, you have to understand that you can't continue doing things the way you've been doing it. And you have to make sacrifices. If it's in your spending, your eating, who you're hanging out with, there's going to be some sacrifices that are going to have to be made. And number 3, understanding that after taking responsibility, after, making sacrifices and knowing the sacrifices you have to make, it's going to be a process. You have to understand and accept delayed gratification. And that right there are the 3 truths behind my success. With the support of my family, and if anyone knows me, I truly, search and rely on God and all the support. But even God said, faith without works is dead. So, responsibility, sacrifice, and accepting delayed gratification. That right there are the 3 truths. Manny out.